Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, dig in, and pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight for you. Our mission: give you that shortcut to being well-informed, maybe with a few surprising facts and just enough humor to keep you listening. Today, we've got a really unique deep dive. We're exploring this concept of a subpersonality named Addy, and she's symbolized by specific body parts, which sounds a bit strained at first, but stick with us. Toes, heart, occipital lobe, even ribosomes. Okay, let's unpack this.
Indeed. And what's so fascinating, I think, is how these parts seemingly so different, right? Toes and ribosomes. But they actually weave together this holistic picture of Addy. It's quite vivid. We've gone through the sources you provided. And yeah, our goal is to guide you through what they reveal, look at the science, the culture, the symbolism of each bit.
Right, so Addy is grounded movement. Where else do we start? But literally the ground, her toes.
It's the perfect starting point, really. Biologically speaking, your toes are, well, they're like these little engineering marvels. They're absolutely critical for balance, for walking, running, jumping, even just standing still, controlling your posture.
Yeah, I read that the big toe, the hallux, is especially key for pushing off when you walk.
Exactly. It gives you that propulsion. And all the toes together, they work to distribute your body weight evenly. That's your stable base right there.
It's amazing, isn't it? How much is going on in something we barely think about most of the time.
Yeah.
What else functional?
Well, anatomically, you've got 14 tiny bones in there, the phalanges, and they're controlled by this whole network of muscles, nerves, giving you really fine motor control and sensation. And these connections, they don't just stop at the ankle. They link up indirectly to your entire musculoskeletal system. And it's quite specialized. You know, our toes evolved from these grasping limbs our ancestors had. They became shorter, more lined, especially that big toe, all for walking upright.
So that adaptation, that connection to the ground, it really sets us apart.
It does. It's a small part doing a huge job, a foundational job.
And this ability to ground us, propel us, make those tiny adjustments, that sounds like Addy, doesn't it? According to the sources.
Absolutely. The sources paint her as playful, but also really rooted, you know, in touch with her body, with the earth. Think about proprioception. That's a scientific term for your body's spatial awareness. It's heightened when you're barefoot.
Okay.
Toes are key for that. And Addy moves through life with that kind of awareness. She's adaptable, resilient. She can dance, leap, or just, you know, stand her ground.
With flair. So beyond the biology, what about the symbolism? Because that feels like where Addy really comes alive.
Oh, definitely. Symbolically, toes represent grounding, humility, forward movement, both physically and metaphorically, right? They're your base.
Yeah.
And things like reflexology, they're even linked to life's foundations. And just think about our everyday language. Dip your toes in, something new.
Or stepping on someone's toes.
Right. Or tiptoeing around an issue. These phrases connect toes to awareness, sensitivity, social grace, or lack thereof. All qualities linked to Addy.
It makes sense. And you see that reflected culturally too, right?
Exactly. Things like painted nails, toe rings, that's personal style, self-care. And think about dance. Toes absorb shock, initiate steps.
Yeah.
Ballet dancers going on point. That's an extreme example.
Wow.
Culturally, you see things like toe rings in India signifying marriage for women, or foot washing as a ritual of humility.
Yeah.
And in art, toes often suggest something light, gentle, maybe childhood innocence or freedom. It fits Addy's archetype, the agile wanderer. She's curious, feeling her way, not afraid to get her feet dirty.
But like any archetype, there's a shadow side.
There is. For Addy, it seems she sometimes leaps before she looks, runs before she's ready, or feels a bit untethered if she's not constantly moving. It reflects that need for grounding we talked about.
Okay, let's move up to the heart. This is Addy as the empathic warrior. How does the biology of the heart reflect that emotional depth?
It's quite profound, isn't it? How one organ carries so much weight, literally and metaphorically. Biologically, okay, it's the pump, the engine, pumping oxygenated blood everywhere, bringing back the deoxygenated stuff nonstop.
Right.
It's about the size of your fist, mostly cardiac muscle. And get this, it beats around 100,000 times every single day.
That's just mind-boggling when you think about it, that endurance.
It is. And it supports pretty much every other system, delivering nutrients, hormones, oxygen. It really is the vital center.
That durability, that central role, it maps so well onto Addy's resilience, her ability to connect deeply.
Precisely. And developmentally, the heart is the first major organ to even start working in an embryo. It forms super early, underlining its importance. Evolutionarily, it went from simple 2 chambers in fish to 3 in amphibians to our 4 chambers. Much more efficient.
A better engine for a more complex life.
Exactly. And that steady, relentless rhythm, That speaks to Addy's reliability and love,
Hmm.
but also her spontaneity and passion.
And connecting that to the bigger picture. The heart as a symbol, it's universal, isn't it? Love, courage, emotion.
Absolutely. Across cultures, across time, ancient Egyptians thought the soul was in the heart, waited in the afterlife.
Mm.
Christianity has the Sacred Heart. Chinese medicine links it to the spirit, the Shen.
And our language is just full of it.
Totally. Broken heart, heart of gold, wear your heart on your sleeve, hard-hearted. These aren't just cliches. They capture real emotional depth, sincerity, pain, generosity. All part of Addy's empathetic nature.
So she's not just feeling things, she's actively moving through them, like blood through the heart.
That's a great way to put it. The heart symbol is everywhere. Jewelry, art, stories, Poe's telltale heart, the Tin Man wanting a heart. It represents our emotional core. Addy, as this empathic warrior, embodies that. She brings aliveness, courage, connection, makes people feel seen, feel safe. She's fiercely loving. Her heart beats with purpose. It might break sometimes, hearts do, but it keeps going.
And that shadow side you mentioned earlier, it really hits home here, doesn't it?
It does. The sources mention Addy curing old grief, like her mom's drowning. It's like a bruise, healed over but still there. It reminds us the heart is vulnerable even when it's strong. A healed heart isn't necessarily an unscarred heart.
Powerful stuff. Okay, let's shift focus to the brain, specifically the occipital lobe. Addy as the inner visionary. How does this visual processing center create imagination?
Well, it's kind of the brain's unsung artist, maybe.
Mm.
The occipital lobe sits right at the back of your head. Its main job is processing everything visual. Light, color, shape, motion, depth, all that raw data coming from your eyes.
So it's not just seeing, it's making sense of it all.
Exactly. It takes all these separate inputs and constructs the coherent visual world you experience. It interprets.
That sounds very Addy, translating raw input into something meaningful.
It really does. And it has these specialized pathways. There's the where pathway that helps with spatial awareness, figuring out where things are, how they're moving. And then there's the what pathway for recognizing objects, faces, really important. And these pathways don't just stop there. They feed information to other parts of the brain, linking what you see to memories, emotions, even decisions. So what you perceive isn't just objective reality hitting your eyeballs, it's an interpretation filtered through this system.
An interpretation that shapes our whole inner landscape.
Absolutely. It's this quiet powerhouse. How you see the world directly impact how you see yourself, how you interact with everything. If your vision's impaired, literally or, metaphorically, it changes how you navigate life. And the occipital lobe is crucial for mental imagery, visual memory. It fuels reflection, imagination. It builds those worlds inside your head.
That idea of seeing beyond the surface, decoding light, revealing the unseen, that feels like pure Addy.
It really does. The sources describe her like a silent seer, noticing things others miss, colors, moods, subtle connections. Her imagination is described as vivid, full of wonder, like she paints the world in brighter colors.
So her archetype is the dream gazer.
Exactly. An artist of perception, reshaping how things are seen and felt. Always finding beauty, whether it's sunlight on gum trees or just a flicker of hope in someone's eyes.
But even a visionary can get lost in the vision, right? The shadow.
Yeah. For Addy, the shadow seems to be getting lost in the ideal sometimes, struggling to sort out what's real versus what's imagined, because that inner world is just so vibrant and compelling for her.
Fascinating. Okay, finally, let's zoom right down. Cellular level. The ribosome. Addy as the joy maker. How on earth does a protein factory relate to joy?
It seems like a leap, but it's actually a beautiful connection, I think.
Yeah.
Taps into something fundamental. So the ribosome, often called the cell's protein factory, right? Its job is translation. It reads the genetic instructions from RNA,
Okay.
and then it assembles amino acids into proteins. All the proteins the cell needs to function, to live, to do anything. It's absolutely foundational, productive. Without ribosomes, nothing gets built, period.
Wow. Okay, so they're everywhere, doing this essential building work unseen.
Exactly. They can be free-floating in the cell, making proteins for internal use, or attached to other structures like the endoplasmic reticulum for proteins that need to be exported or embedded in membranes. And every single system in your body relies on them indirectly. No proteins means no enzymes, no cell structures, no signals, no action.
That's huge.
It is, and they're ancient. Ribosomes are probably one of the oldest bits of cellular machinery, likely present in the last universal common ancestor of all life. They're in every living cell.
So they're indispensable. They don't give the orders, but they do the making.
That's the key metaphor. Execution, creation, unseen effort. That's how it links to Addy as the joy maker.
So Addie's not just about having bright ideas, she's the one making them happen, bringing the joy into reality.
Precisely. Psychologically, you could parallel it with focus, dedication, creative output. Emotionally, it's like that essential support role, maybe not always in the spotlight, but utterly vital. It's about productivity, translating meaning or intention into tangible action.
Like a choreographer making the dance precise, or threads becoming a tapestry.
Perfect analogies. That's Addy, according to the sources, translating life spark into actual joy. A smile, a dare, a dance around a campfire.
She's always building, creating, putting out that vibe. Jokes, meals, small kindnesses. She makes things real and often beautiful.
Yeah. Her archetype is the creative artisan. Working behind the scenes, maybe, but bringing magic to life, one little joy particle at a time. It highlights that deep truth. We're makers, not just thinkers. And so much of the work that sustains the world, that brings beauty and joy, goes unseen. The ribosome kind of whispers, repetition with meaning. That's creation.
But even the essential creator can feel unappreciated.
That seems to be her shadow, feeling overlooked, undervalued, thinking maybe, okay, I'm the fun one, the one making things happen. But do they see the depth, the effort behind it?
What an incredible journey that was through Addy, through these different parts. From the grounding force of her toes, that subtle dance, to the heart, her empathic engine, the visionary insight of the occipital lobe, and then down to the tiny, tireless joy-making of the ribosomes. It really clicks together, doesn't it? Seeing how the science and the symbols merge.
It really does. Addy emerges as this figure who's grounded but agile, deeply empathetic yet resilient, creatively visionary, and also this diligent, almost unseen maker of joy. This whole deep dive, I think, really underscores how looking at something complex like a personality, even a subpersonality from multiple angles, just enriches our understanding so much. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other concepts, maybe seemingly simple things in our lives, hold these hidden layers, these unexpected connections waiting to be explored?
Yeah, it really does. And maybe as you go about your day-to-day, think about those tiny, unseen parts of your own life. You know, the quiet rhythms, the functions you overlook, the small, steady actions you take. How do they all contribute to the whole amazing, complex system that is you? Notice how those unseen efforts, those grounded actions really do bring meaning and maybe even joy into the world. Until next time, keep diving deep.